I just finished reading most of an article by Angelina Chapin in the HuffPost about this latest trend of women saying "Me Too" or hashtag "Me Too" across the internet, so that they talk about, how they got sexually abused by a guy sometime in their life, and now they're, blanketing the internet with Me Too stories because of the Harvey Weinberg deal. And this woman, Angelina Chapin, actually makes the assertion. I mean, she doesn't back this up with any statistics, okay, and she doesn't ground it, and she doesn't even give it any kind of caging, like, almost every, or I imagine, or any kind of thing. She just outright says that, if I understood this correctly, and, I could not have, that every woman is the victim of sexual abuse. Every single woman. Imagine. Everyone. Because of men. And it's not going to stop, and we can whine about it all we want on the internet, she says, but it's not going to stop until these bastards realize what pigs they are and quit it. And I just felt I had to respond to that. I guess, what I'm going to say is, first I'm going to, just bring up this anecdote from my good old days in college, where I basically never got any. Or I never got any. At least not from college. So, anyway, neither did most of the other guys there, except, I won't get into that. But anyway, we had these, it was 3/4 female. Okay, there are way more women than men, right, on this campus. And one of them styled herself as a real activist and a real rebel. And she was always, corralling women. Men were verboten. She announced herself that she was lesbian. She talked about in class how she had strange dreams about wanting to have children, and why could that ever be? Because she was absolutely never going to have one. And one day in the cafeteria, she managed to put up about 9 banners that just said, "Men rape." That was all it said. Men rape. And, there had not been any rapes on campus that I had known about. I mean, campus was perfectly fine. Everyone was perfectly fine. There had been no violence or disturbances on that campus as long as anyone could remember. And there wasn't anything going on in the community or in the news that was any way about that. She just put up a bunch of banners that said, "Men rape." It wasn't even clear to me, because when I saw this, it was just like, it was sort of an affront. But when I saw this, I was just sort of thinking, is she just talking about the phenomenon, the phenomenological fact that men have penises and ergo they can rape? Or is she just saying that men are moral bastards and so they rape, and that's just true to a T all through time, all through existence, and women? And if this is actually a truth, a real truth about humanity, if that's really the truth about humanity, then how do we even have a concept of rape? It would just be, you dork a bitch and you move on, okay? So, obviously we must have some concept of good versus evil in order to even have the concept of rape at all, or otherwise it just wouldn't be rape. You see what I'm saying? It would just be what you did, like eating. So just to go around and say, "Men rape." Well, we want to know what else? Women can rape too. There have been a couple of incidents, like really fat women pinning guys down and getting them all good, and then, I think there's even a movie about that in one scene where one of the superhero gets raped and gets STDs by gets drugged up and raped and gets STDs by a whore, tied up to a bed. So what I'm saying is, it's just hysteria. It's really funny. It's sort of like saying, this group, is X and that group is Y. Once you actually say that categorically that every single woman has been raped, which must mean that or not raped, but sexually abused, demeaned, degraded, or in any way made to feel at all self-conscious, I imagine. I have news for you. I think virtually every human being has been raped. It's not about men or women, okay? Everyone here has been fucking humiliated. You want to know something? I have talked to more guys who are hiding behind their computers, whimpering, trembling broken hearts, because their first time of experience with a woman, that woman humiliated them. Like this one guy who tried to get on. He was the gentlest guy I've ever known, and the first thing she did was talk shit about his dick as soon as it was out. For his first experience ever. Well, God, what do you know? That kind of messed him up. He hasn't had a date since, and now he thinks he's gay. Or what about another friend, woman broke his heart, he's never had the heart to go out there again. Wow, he must be a sexual predator. This is the sort of person who will talk to you about stars, butterflies, and electrical engineering, okay? Oh yeah, he's a sexual predator. You see, I just don't get it, okay? I mean, we've all been hurt, all right? I mean, just face it, okay? And what I see here is a complete lack on the woman's part of any kind of understanding of what it means to be male at all right? Why don't you go watch some nature films and see what it's like out there? Then you can talk about it, okay? I want to see a woman who has a raging body full of testosterone, okay, try to act just like a nice little girl, okay? I like to see that. I want to see, you can do it, you can inject women with testosterone. It's been done. Give them all a real good cc of testosterone and see how calm and clever they are after that. It takes a lot of discipline to control testosterone. You think you're laughing, ha ha ha, well, it does. And you want to prove it, go get your doctor. You can get it by prescription. Say, I've been feeling a little passive lately, and they may just give you some steroids, prescription. They'll give you an injection, and you can see what it does to your life. I know, because my mom got testosterone injections back in the days when they were experimenting with things like that, and boy, all right? So don't talk shit about what you don't know, all right? I mean, I'm not sitting around here like talking about your pussies and how they should work, am I? Okay, so everyone's been sexually abused, and we've all been terribly insensitive to each other, and one way we're going to stop that is by trying to understand each other on a realistic, practical level. Okay, which is understanding just as much what society is demanding from each sex as what it means to actually be each sex, okay? And all you want to say is, oh, well, we're going to shrug it off on the men. And we're not going to, and when they say, oh, it was how you were dressed, and oh, it was how you were this, we're going to tell them to go fuck themselves. And then we're going to have 3 kids. And I'm sorry, that's not how it works, ladies, okay? Testosterone is an arrow. It's a strength, it's a wand, it's a light, it's a drive, it's whatever you want, and it's pointed right at you, and it always will be. And there's not, we didn't do that, God did it. It's not immoral, it's the way it is. It's how we cope with it, and what we do with it, and how we manifest it is what's important. But you can't just say, men rape. That's a cop-out. Okay? Join a convent. Okay? I mean, it's just like, I'm sorry. Every day I have to watch women walk around half nude. And no one gives a fuck what I think about that. Okay? I don't say anything. But it's a fact. I have testosterone. I have to see it. It's like being in a candy factory where you can never eat any candy because if you express your natural desire to have a piece of chocolate, you're a thief. Okay? So no, just keep parading it in front of me and say, no, this isn't yours. Then why are you doing it? Why do you want to be attractive? Why do you want to be pretty if every man is a sexual predator? It just doesn't make sense, ladies. I'm sorry. It just doesn't make sense. I'll believe it when you're all wandering out there in gray sackcloth, that you believe that every man is a sexual predator, all right? Go, give me a break, okay? Anyway, I'm going to end this with one last story here. And what I'm going to say is that this same, lady who put men rape, okay, well, she and I didn't get along. For one thing, she was filthy rich, and I was working my ass off trying to be a, steadfast member of the community. And doing other things, writing philosophy and all sorts of stuff. But she and I, she wasn't really that open, in my opinion. Even though I interacted with her several times, she was cool. But we were sitting at the cafeteria and just, by accident one day, I had my roommate on this side and she was seated at the head of the table because she liked to be seated at the head of the table. And she started saying, boy, yesterday, my pussy, I was having, I was having my period, I was having cramps, and I looked down and it was bleeding more than usual. God, it's just such a drag. I mean, I bet you guys, you don't have any idea what that's like. Oh man, my pussy was just driving me nuts. And she actually kept on talking like this. She was just reveling and making every other male there squirm as she righteously talked about her pussy. So about after 2 or 3 minutes of this, I put down my fork. And I said, all this talk about this makes me want to go on into the restroom and take out my big, long thing and just jizz all over the restroom wall. Doesn't it, Mike? Mike almost chokes. I said, because that's just real natural. That's what I do all the time. I couldn't believe how much jizz came out of my dick the last time I handled it. Boy, she just shut up. I didn't say another word and never spoke to me again. Women.